Good people. Hope you guys are having yourself a blessed Sunday out there. Yes, sirree, Bob. I'm up here doing another 4 for 4. Now, for any of you guys that don't know what 4 for 4 is, every Sunday I'm going to come up here before the 1 o'clock games start. And I'm going to pick 4 games. Not only am I going to pick those 4 games, but I'm going to be correct in the games that I pick. If you guys get a chance to go back and look at my videos on my picks from last week, you'll see I picked 4 games and all 4 of my teams came in. Not to mention, I had said that the New Orleans Saints were going to mollywop the Dallas Cowboys. You guys go back and take a look at that final score and let me know if my prediction was right. Feeling good, feeling good, feeling good. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to pick another 4 games this week. See if I can go another 4 for 4. Tampa Bay versus the Denver Broncos. I'm picking Tampa Bay to beat the Denver Broncos. Houston versus Minnesota. The Houston Texans versus Minnesota Vikings. I'm picking the Houston Texans to beat the Minnesota Vikings. This next particular game is the one that I'm having a lot of trouble with, but I'm going to try and err on the side of common sense. Baltimore Ravens versus the Dallas Cowboys. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I'm an individual that every chance I get, I'm going to bet against the Dallas Cowboys. The only problem is, even though I wish I could say it, that the Dallas Cowboys are strictly garbage, they're really not that bad of a team. And they got a pretty decent defense. But I cannot see Baltimore Ravens going 0-3 for the season. I can't see it. Also, not to mention the mere fact of the matter that, yes, they did lose to my Las Vegas Raiders last week, but they did not play a bad game. As a matter of fact, for, I would have to say, maybe 2.5 quarters, they were in charge of that game. The only problem is that they couldn't close the deal. That being said, I'm picking Baltimore Ravens to beat the Dallas Cowboys. Angelo, welcome. Brian, yo, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm making my picks this week. 4 for 4. I went 4 for 4 last week with the picks that I made. Go back and watch my videos. You'll see all 4 of my picks came in. So I'm going and I'm picking another 4. Brian, your Bears, they're a very, very good team. I'm very surprised about the start, but I'm thinking that, you know what, your quarterback just needs a little bit more time to figure things out. As soon as he gets himself comfortable, the sky's the limit for that team because they have a very, very good young squad. I'm picking the Baltimore Ravens to beat the Dallas Cowboys this year. This week, this year. I'm picking them to beat them because I cannot see the Baltimore Ravens. Jody Hewitt, welcome, welcome, welcome. Appreciate it, man. I appreciate the support. I can't see the Baltimore Ravens going 0-3 this season, this week. So I do think that they are going to win this game. And my last pick, I'm picking my Las Vegas Raiders to beat the Carolina Panthers. Chris, 2907, hello. Oh, from Switzerland, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I hope you guys like NFL out there in Switzerland. The main reason why I'm picking my Raiders to beat the Carolina Panthers is because of the mere fact of the matter. They're coming off of a high. They went into Baltimore and they beat Baltimore on their home field. And this is the Raiders' first home game. So yeah, I think they're coming to represent. I really, really do. Unfortunately, we're going to see what's going to happen with those Miami Dolphins, because I mean, you know, they have a good team, but unfortunately their quarterback is they're going to have to go out and get themselves a quarterback that could probably last throughout the entire season, because unfortunately this is like Tua's third concussion, and you know, like, unfortunately, from my knowledge of concussions, after you get two, things don't really look good for your future, because any little hit makes your brain rattle, kind of thing. And you know, it's a sad thing, because every time he gets hit, I get scared. I'm not telling no word of a lie. Just his reactions of when he gets hit, the delayed reactions and stuff like that, it doesn't look good. So, wishing him nothing but the best. But those are my 4 picks this week, my friends. I'm going to say it again. Tampa Bay, Houston, Baltimore Ravens, and the Vegas Raiders. Those are the teams I'm picking to win this week. I got 3 1 o'clock games and 1 4 o'clock game. I'm also picking the WNBA. The WNBA games are starting today, and I'm going to pick some winners from that, because I've been following the season. I'm feeling pretty confident with who I think is going to win today and who I think is going to win the series. In the WNBA, you have Atlanta versus the New York Liberty. I'm picking New York Liberty not only to win today, but to win that series. Bete, hey, how are you? You have Indiana Fever versus Connecticut. I know people are expecting a lot of great things from Caitlin Clark and stuff like that, and really and truly, the greatest thing she was able to do was make her team get to the playoffs. So, she deserves to be Rookie of the Year for that. That being said, I don't see Indiana beating Connecticut in this series, in my humble personal opinion. Connecticut's a pretty decent squad. I think that they're going to put it all together, and they're going to beat the Indiana Fever. We have Phoenix versus Minnesota. I'm picking Minnesota to beat Phoenix today and to also beat them in the series. The only series that I have a question mark about is Seattle versus Las Vegas, the Aces. I'm not really sure about that series, because Seattle's a pretty decent team, and Vegas, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they got the best player in the league on their squad. So, but that series is a little bit of a toss-up to me. I'm not really sure who I think is going to win that one. I'm going to say it again. I'm picking the New York Liberty to win. I'm picking Connecticut to win. And I'm picking Minnesota to win. The toss-up is between Seattle and Vegas. There was I had the opportunity to watch one of the content creators that I follow, and he was covering something that he was watching from on Gilbert Arenas' show. Now, it's a show I don't pay too much attention to, for the simple fact of the matter that Gilbert Arenas is not somebody that I follow, because I think he spews a lot of nonsense out there in the universe. That being said, I believe the conversation or the debate that he was having in his show was a very, very interesting debate. So I figured I want to bring it to my platform to ask some people out here what they thought about it. Now, the conversation Gilbert Arenas was having with some other members on his platform, he was saying, in a game, if he's out there giving the person that's guarding him, he just scored 35 points on them. He's giving them, lighting them up for 35 points. In turn, he's guarding that same individual where they scored 5 points, but they gave 20 assists. In Gilbert Arenas' mind, he said that he he is giving them the business and he's shutting them down. He's giving them the business, yes, because he scored 35 points. Absolutely. He's giving them the individual business. But in my personal opinion, there's no way in the world that he could say that he's shutting that individual down. Because they scored 5 points and they gave 20 assists. This is my logic on it. The 20 assists they represent points. That's the reason why they're called assists. Meaning that you facilitated the ball to your teammates on the court, and every single point, every single basket is worth the minimum 2 points, correct? So let's just say all of those 20 assists were just 2 points. Do the multiplication. 20 times 2 equals 40. So you yourself have assisted and created 40 points for your team. So how could Gilbert Arenas say that he shut that individual down? Because they scored 5 points. He scored 35 points, but the person that he's guarding scored only 5 points but gave 20 assists. And in his warped way of thinking, he believes he shut that individual down. Doesn't make sense to me. I'll be totally honest with you. I have the opportunity to coach this game, and I'd much rather have an individual give 20 assists than one person score 35 points. Why? Because 20 assists tells me that this individual is a team player. Yes, Chris. Yes, sir. I would much rather have an individual who's out there facilitating the ball, getting team basketball played, instead of one individual out there just trying to pad his own stats. Because 35 points is very, very good, but just because you scored 35 points doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to win that game. Just because you scored that 35 points, you could just be all about yourself. You have no idea what it is to play team concept basketball. You're just out there trying to get what you got to get. That's it. Win, lose, or draw, you couldn't care less about the score on the board. You just care about what it looks like on your stats. Chris, 2907. I'm not sure if you agree with me or you understand what I'm saying, but 20 assists represents the bare minimum 40 points. We're not talking about the possibility that he might have assisted some 3-point shots, or he might have assisted some and ones. We're not talking about all of that. We're just talking about 20 assists. And where I come from, every single basket represents 2 points. Unless you're at the free throw line. My charge 1 by. But I want you guys to let me know what you guys think. If you guys, I'm sure there's a lot of people that play the game or whatever the case may be that might actually agree with Gilbert Arenas. Might actually agree with the fact of the matter that if he scores 35 points on me, while I'm guarding him, he scores 35 points on me. But while he's guarding me, I score 5 or 6 points, but I give him 20 assists. Did he shut me down? $20 assists. They're not just 20 passes to individuals that might have missed wide open shots. 20 assists. Assists means that whoever you gave that ball to, they scored. Damn, they're Greek. You're the man I want to answer this particular question for me. I'm going to say it again. Gilbert Arenas, on his show, he was having a debate with, I guess, Kenyon Martin or a couple of other players. Gilbert Arenas, in his mind, he believes in a basketball game, he's guarding me and I'm guarding him in this particular game. He's lighting me up for 35 points. In turn, I give him 6 points but 20 assists. Did Gilbert Arenas shut me down? In his mind, he believes he shut me down because I only scored 5 points. What about the 20 assists? Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me in my arithmetic, but do 20 assists represent 40 points? So how in the blue hell did Gilbert Arenas shut me down? Thank you. How in the world did Gilbert Arenas shut me down? All that shows is that Gilbert Arenas is a little bit more of a selfish player, no? I would much rather have an individual that's dropping 20 assists off on my team than one individual that's just out there scoring 35 points. In my humble personal opinion. Because in my knowledge of basketball, just because you score the most points in a game does not necessarily mean that you win games or you win championships. Michael Jordan came into the league. Michael Jordan went into the playoffs scoring 60-something points against Larry Bird, but still going home early. It wasn't until Phil Jackson came in and made him buy into the whole team concept. That's when he started winning championships. Kobe Bryant, as great as Kobe Bryant was, he didn't start winning championships until Phil Jackson went in there and kind of changed that entire mentality. Dim the Greek, you played your first match yesterday. How'd you guys do? How'd you do? Hope you guys won, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Let me know what you guys really believe. Do you believe that Gilbert Arenas really, he has something with what he say with his statement? You won by 4 points. Congratulations, my man. Way to start the season off. You gave the winning assist. Thank you. How important are assists, my man? How important are those assists? Good job, buddy. What position do you play? Point guard? Doesn't matter anyways. Way to go. You gave that winning assist. And I bet that felt just as good as hitting that winning shot, didn't it? The only reason why I'm up here talking about this is because, like, I want the younger generation to understand that there's a hell of a lot more to basketball than just scoring. There's a hell of a lot more to it. And if you're an individual that can only go out there and get maybe 5 or 6 points, but you're perfect in giving people the ball exactly where they want it, you're just as effective as a Gilbert Arenas that's up there scoring 60 points, in my eyes. 4 points. Good job, man. You're just as important. Unfortunately, the younger generation doesn't have that passion for basketball like when I was growing up. And the reason why I say that is because it's kind of hard to find younger generations sitting down and just watching an NBA game. If they're not playing in the game, they're not interested. If they're not playing in the game, they are not interested. Back in my day, we played, and then we sat down and we watched basketball games. Yes, you do. In Europe, you guys have passion for it. Unfortunately, I don't know, North America, I can't talk about the United States part because I think that they still do have some passionate people out there. North America, this side of where I'm living, we lost a little bit of that passion for whatever reason. I mean, it was very, very simple to see the passion that we had lost because we would drive around during the summertime where basketball courts would be empty. Now we're starting to see a little bit more life in it again. But there was a good 3 years where you'd be driving by in the summertime and looking at basketball courts and seeing 2 people out there. I remember when I was coming up, we used to have to ride from park to park to park to try and get a game because there was too many people. And if you got on, you tried your best not to lose because the minute you lost, that was it. You'd have to wait hours to get back on. That's the passion I'm talking about. I mean, I'm a firm believer that it's just like getting your driver's license. There's a practical when you're on the road, actually doing it, driving on the highway and stuff like that. And then there's a theory when you got to sit back and you got to learn about the signs and all the codes and all that type of stuff. For me, when kids are actually sitting down watching basketball games, that's theory. That's the understanding of the game. Not to mention, that motivated us. Because when we sat down and watched a 4-quarter basketball game of Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, and we saw him do something phenomenal on the court, what do you think we were going on the court the next day to try and do? We're trying to perfect that move. When Kobe Bryant went to a step-back fadeaway, what do you think we were going on the court the very next day to try and perfect, to try and do? It's something that's just not being done today for whatever reason. Kids, they're fully invested if they're on a team and they're actually playing in the game. But the minute you take a kid off of the court and you make him sit on the bench, you've lost 50% of his attention right there. And this is while the game is still actively being played. So unfortunately, what do you think it's going to be when you ask your son or your nephew or your little brother to come sit down beside you and watch 4 quarters of an NBA game? They're not interested at all. It has zero effect in their life. They couldn't care less because they're not getting into this game. They have no chance of getting into this game. Means nothing to them. Watch those Greek teams play, man. Get some quality basketball out there, my man. I just think that what us as individuals have to start doing is just start trying to help the younger generation get back some of that passion. And it's not just for basketball. I'm talking about in sports on a whole. If you happen to have a child that plays soccer, take that time and sit down and watch soccer games with him or her. Football, baseball, whatever it may be. Because that is, in my belief, that is what's going to drive the passion back in the game. That's going to make them go out there and want to play with that edge. That being said, people, I want you guys to enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Check out my picks in the NFL and in the WNBA. And, we're going to come back up here a little bit later on and see exactly how my predictions went. I think I'm going to go 4 for 4 in the NFL again. I went 4 for 4 last week, and I'm looking to go 4 for 4 this week. And the WNBA, I'm, like I said, the only game that the only game that I'm really not sure about is Seattle versus Las Vegas. I'm not sure who's going to win today, and I'm not sure who's going to win that series. I feel pretty confident with the New York Liberty beating Atlanta. I feel pretty confident with Connecticut beating Indiana. And I feel pretty confident with Minnesota beating Phoenix. I need you guys to share. I need you guys to like and subscribe to this channel. Help this channel grow. Double the Innocence with your boy E-Dub is out. Have yourself a blessed Sunday. Dim the Greek. Let me know how your season goes, buddy. Deuces.